Care Talk to Me with Damilola, and our wonderful guest, our amiable, fantastic guest for today is none else but Pastor Tola, Seedy, the convener of Recharge. I hope I'm very correct about that, sir.
It's a race,
Yes,
yeah. Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, sir. For today, our topic today has to do with a couple of questions came in from I Care Talk to Me, and one of it was, why is being a person of value a big deal? I mean, for today's generation, we see value, value, value everywhere. And when the question came in, I was like, okay, that means there's a lot of people out there who actually are about this value of a thing, are thinking, okay, why should I be a person of value? We see value everywhere. You have to give value. You have to give value. What is it about this value of a thing?
Okay, thanks. Thank you very much. It's a very timely discussion because now we see a generation that is not particular about adding value, but they want to get value, right? They may not understand it, but they want to be rich, right?
Mm-hmm.
They want to be rich. They want to get things. That's value, right? They want to get value, but they don't want to add value. When I was a kid, and maybe you've done it too. A lot of us have done it. When you just say, "I wish someone would just come and dash me 1 million."
Exactly.
Yeah, we
Very
said it a lot.
yeah.
Who just comes and dashes you 1 million? Really, uh, it really doesn't happen, right? Um, I used to say many years ago when I was still on campus, I used to preach that service is the rent you pay for the space you occupy on earth, right? Um, that your being here is uh, is for you to make an impact. As a pastor, I would always draw from the Bible, and when God created Adam, He put him in a garden to tend it, right? To make it better, to improve it. So all of us here are here to make the world a better place.
Better place.
That's why you go to school. Unfortunately, in economies that are bad, we are given the impression that you are in school to learn how to get a job afterwards. But that's horrible. That's a very horrible perspective
Yes, sir.
because we've seen many people that didn't go to school that are living well, that are even employing people that go to school. You are in school to learn where you are gifted, how you can add value. So the guy that goes to school and becomes a lawyer
Yes, sir.
is adding value in the justice space.
Space.
School has taught you that some people will need justice and you have to fight for them.
For them.
You train as a doctor, as a pharmacist. School has taught you that people will need help in their health. And that's what you're trained for. You go to school, you're trained to be a cop, a police officer. You are trained to help instill law and order. And so when I am driving on the road, say in Nigeria, and I see someone wearing suit and all of that, driving against traffic, then I say to whoever is with me, I say this person went to school, but is still an illiterate
That's
because there's no point in education if you do not make your society better.
better.
That's the whole essence of
Wow.
life.
Wow.
We must make it's the way we are designed, right? Even in our general design, plants will not survive if you are not breathing. The
Mm-hmm.
carbon dioxide you are pushing out is what they are taking in.
Very true, sir.
The oxygen they are pushing out is what you are taking in, right? That's it. Your output is somebody else's input. You cannot escape it. It's very, very critical. So here we are, um, using the computer, using the internet. because somebody created it.
Absolutely. Very true.
We could not
Very true.
have held this meeting 20 years ago, 25 years ago. It's not possible.
Very true, sir.
It's either I'm in front of you physically or I'm not. There's no way this
Oh
meeting would
boy.
hold.
Yeah, very true.
Some people felt the need to make it happen,
Mm.
and they did develop this. The food you ate was because somebody added value. The clothes you
Mm.
wear is because somebody added value.
Very true.
And the way life works,
Mm.
all of those people got something in return. They got money, they probably got accolades, they got attention, they got all of those in return.
How do I become a person who is not just, okay, I've acquired the knowledge, just like you said, I've gone to school, I've acquired the knowledge, I've gained expertise, from my own line of spare. How then do I give this value?
The first thing I like to say is that if you are a human being, then you are valuable
Mm-hmm.
first, right? So this is an illustration I usually give when I'm teaching on this topic, and I usually do it with young adults a lot. So I would
I
say
know
if I so I would say if I show you something, I show you a product, I show you three of it, three products of the same type, yeah, and I say this one was made in Nigeria, this one was made in South Africa,
Okay.
and this one was made in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Which one would you go for? And then usually they would say the one made in the United States. Then I would say, why? And then they would say, because United States is maybe reputed for excellence and all of that. So I said, okay. Then I asked them, what do you think about heaven? Do you think it's
Mm.
reputed for excellence? They say yes. I said, what
Mm-hmm.
do you think about the products that came from there? Okay. Sometimes people doubt that they are valuable because of the things they've gone through. But yes, some pastor did another illustration when he asked his church members. He held up $100 bill and he asked them, um, how many of you want this money? And they raised their hands, right? Then he said, wait, and then squeezed it, and then raised it up and said, how many of you want this money? Then they still raised their hands. Then he said, wait. Then he dropped the money on the floor and stamped on it a few times and brought it up again and said, how many of you want it? And then they all still raised their hands. So he said, this is the lesson I'm teaching you.
Mm-hmm.
He said, this money is $100 bill. He said, even when I squeeze it, I trample on it, whatever I do does not change its value, even if it makes it a bit dirtier.
Amazing.
He said, and that's the way you are. Life may trample on you, may squeeze you, he said, but your value remains your value. It's only when I tear this money, it's no longer $100. It's only when you are torn apart and you're no longer alive
Mm.
that you are no longer who you are. So first and foremost, you are a person of value. You must realize it, you must understand it, and then you're on the way.
On
It's
the
the first thing.
way, on the
If you are
way.
not for sure of it, then you cannot act it out. It's the first thing. Realize you are a person of value. And then the
Value.
next thing is, yes. And then the next thing is to learn to think beyond yourself. Selfishness is what kills a lot of us. We don't know. So we jokingly say that some people will want to get all they and then can all they get and sit on the can,
Mm.
right? Um, it doesn't help. We must learn to think beyond ourselves,
Beyond
okay? Is
ourselves.
the first step in being a person of value, right? To be able to pay attention to the needs of other people,
Other people.
okay? And to seek to give.
Mm. Mm.
When I say give, it can be money, it can be time, it can be attention, it can be empathy, but just that somebody can say, oh, thank God for this person.
Right.
It can just be a listening ear. I know of people that charge money for listening to people,
Very
not even to
true.
counsel,
Yes,
to
sir.
just listen.
Absolutely.
Okay. So everything can be monetized. But first, before you even think of monetizing, be useful to somebody else.
Be useful to
Is where it
somebody.
starts from. I
Mm,
said to somebody, you are living in somebody's house. The least you can do, right? Be buying toothpaste and soap. Let it be that when you leave, they will say, when this guy was here, we never missed toothpaste. We never lacked, right? Always seek to make contributions. Always seek to give. It is very, very important, right? It's the first major thing I would say to anyone that wants to be a person of value.
amazing. This is so apt. So apt. I
Thank you.
think for Pastor Tola, for there are some people that are like, okay, let's say for instance, I'm a doctor, that's what I'm good at, but then again I'm not satisfied. All right, and yeah, you're saying, being a person of value has to do with other people, having to know what you give to other people, having to give a service to other people. But here I am giving a service, quite all right, but I am still not satisfied. Okay, now where do I go from here? What do I do?
I should say it's a very, very brilliant and realistic question. Okay. The truth is, for many of us, we can do more than one thing. Yes, that's it. We can do more than one thing. Sometimes the things we are doing are seasonal.
Mm,
Okay. Sometimes, I can be a doctor. I mean, I didn't study pastoring in school. I could be doing what I studied, right?
mm,
So sometimes, and because it takes a while for you to graduate and be a doctor, okay? You've gone to the university, gone to medical school, done housemanship and all of that. And then your parent that sponsors your education does not want to hear you say you are not practicing. So we have people practicing but are not being fulfilled. And then the Nigerian system doesn't help as well.
it doesn't.
But um, but so I have done some teachings on occupation and hobby,
Okay,
right?
okay.
Because truly, what is your occupation is somebody else's hobby. I would usually tell people that want to get into a job or something, I'd usually tell them to look out for three things, and that that job must meet two of those three for it to be worthwhile.
Okay, sir.
I said they should seek passion, they should seek time, and they should seek money. And that whatever job they will go for must meet at least two of those three. If the job meets all three, wow, that's beautiful. It hardly happens, but if it meets all three, then that's fantastic. Uh, but if it doesn't meet all three, if it meets two, then you're quite fine. And this is what I mean. So if the job feeds your passion, right, and gives you money, but doesn't give you time, then you're
Time.
fine because you're already passionate about it.
Okay,
If you're
sir.
passionate about something, you don't care about the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're fine. If it gives you money and it gives you time, but it doesn't feed your passion, then fantastic. You have the money and the time to go and do whatever gives you passion, right?
Okay.
If it gives you passion and gives you time, but doesn't give you money, then you have the time to look for what gives you money,
Wow.
right?
Amazing.
Um,
Wow.
but in a perfect world, it gives you all three, and that's amazing. It feeds your passion, it gives you money, gives you time. But you see, even with the remaining time, it's still what you are passionate about, you will do.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Very
So
true.
I usually tell people, so look for two of those three, two at least. If it doesn't meet two, then it's not good. Um, so for that doctor and maybe a lawyer, whoever, you have to answer the question of if this thing you're doing, regardless of how much time you had put into it in the past, if it meets two of this, you have to find out. If it does, then good. If it doesn't, uh, then you may just be a very sad person. Yes, you may be a very sad person because if you're not passionate about medicine, people will die, right?
Mm-hmm.
People will die if you're not passionate about it. Um, if you're not happy doing what you're doing,
Doing what you're
if you're
doing.
yes, if you are on call and you would rather be elsewhere, if you're on call and all you're thinking about is how broke you are,
Mm,
um, then you won't be very useful to
very true.
people. Okay,
Very true.
so that person has to just ask this question and run that test, right?
Okay, the test
If
of
it doesn't meet
passion,
all three,
time, and
passion, time,
money.
and money,
Okay,
yes.
amazing.
Um, if it meets two of it, yes. So you can figure out the remaining. But if it doesn't, then that person has a big decision to make. Again, if the other thing you love to do is not going to bring you immediate rewards in terms
Okay,
of money, right?
okay.
It may give you immediate fulfillment, but doesn't give you money in the immediate. Now, what you want to do is hold on to what gives you money, but create time to build this one as well.
Wow.
And then when you get to the point where that can also bring you value back,
Mm,
right? Then
mm,
you can leave this other one and focus fully on it. And then you can then add value and get value back. Yes.
amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you so
Mm.
much, Pastor Tola. You know, I've had a wonderful
You're welcome.
session with you, and I'm so, so grateful.